GameStop.
GameStop's stock is surging.
The frenzy was seemingly caused by a Reddit forum called Wallstreetbets. It has millions of members who hoovered up shares in GameStop in what has been touted as a battle between Wall Street and vigilante day traders who wanted to stick it to the establishment investors.
How Wallstreetbets united the world with GameStop. Now, unless you've been living on a deserted island for the past month, then there's absolutely no doubt that you've heard about GameStop, all the craziness in the US stock market, and a little group of people known as Wall Street Bets. Now, I'm not going to dive too deep into the technicals of the situation itself, but essentially, in 2020, GameStop was a company that sold video games. Their core business model was selling and trading physical game copies in traditional brick and mortar stores. Now, due to the whole gaming industry moving over to more online and digital purchasing of games, GameStop was nothing more than your standard struggling business that failed to adapt with the times. And with the whole global pandemic occurring last year, it appeared that this was the last nail in the coffin for GameStop. And it seemed that they didn't have much of a future at all. This is what caused the stock price of the company to be shorted by big Wall Street banks and hedge funds, meaning that investors didn't view the company as very valuable, and they viewed GameStop as not having a bright future at all. Unlike when you buy a stock and hope it goes up in value, when you short a stock, you hope it goes down in value. Now, in terms of investing, it fundamentally made sense. It seemed that GameStop was destined to burn. But that was until a little group of people on Reddit, known as Wallstreetbets, came together and started to buy and drive the price of GameStop. Now, there was no rationale or traditional fundamentals behind it. It was just a group of people that decided that they wanted to buy the stock. Now, when hedge funds and banks saw that they were on the losing side of this trade, they started to openly attack Wallstreetbets, which inevitably caused more people to jump in and buy the stock, driving the price up even more.
The reason the market is doing what it's doing is people are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people. And, I think it's inappropriate. We all got to work together and pull together.
And after being able to wipe out billions of dollars of short positions from the big hedge funds, we started to see millions of people from around the world screaming out to buy GameStop and to hold the line, meaning to not let the price go down. Now, personally, from an investment standpoint, I didn't get involved at all, due to the fact it being driven up without any fundamentals, and price action being based on pure speculation, which told me that the price could crash at any time. But to me, it wasn't about making money. It was more so of a lesson on how to rally people up and unite them around a cause to fight an enemy. I mean, regardless of what the actual outcome is regarding the stock prices, what Wallstreetbets did was nothing short of amazing.
You did predict, I think, some of what we're seeing here with these Redditors talking about buying these stocks that were heavily shorted. But did you ever imagine this could happen when you founded the platform?
Like I said, I predicted the trajectory where things were going, but by no means did I predict the timing of that magnitude. This thing has happened so quickly, so fast. I think the turning point was when I saw yesterday the White House was commenting on this story. I can't imagine that I ever envisioned this happening.
In a now pretty divided world, this whole scenario was able to unite people from around the world, regardless of race, gender, and political beliefs. It was all about the little guy. The little guy being able to stick their middle finger up at Wall Street and scream out a big fuck you. This is the genius behind what Wallstreetbets did. And the way they did this was by using the 25th strategy of war. Occupy the moral high ground. The righteous strategy. In a political world, the cause you are fighting for must see more than your enemies. Think of this as a moral terrain. that you and the other side are fighting over. By questioning your enemy's motives and making them appear evil, you can narrow their base of support and room to maneuver. Aim at the soft spots in their public image, exposing any hypocrisies on their part. Never assume that the justice of your cause is self-evident. Publicize and promote it. When you yourself come under moral attack from an enemy, do not whine or get angry. Fight fire with fire. If possible, position yourself as the underdog, the victim, the martyr, and learn how to inflict guilt as a moral weapon. Now, it's needless to say that after explaining this, you can fully understand how Wallstreetbets united the whole world against the big banks, and a strategy that you can take with you to implement into your own life and business. The whole idea behind Gamestop wasn't about a get-rich-quick scheme. It was about sending a message to Wall Street. It was about the little guy standing up against the big institutions that govern the world.
It's not about money. It's about sending a message. Everything burns.
Even though the founder of Wallstreetbets states that they're not a movement with any specific agenda, all this unity between people seems like it really is a movement. A war is nothing without public support, but by taking the moral high ground and painting the opposite side as the enemy is what will garner you the power to bring people together, and is one of the most powerful marketing strategies that you can implement. Now, realistically, I strongly believe that the big hedge funds and banks will eventually take back control and come out on top on the money side of things. I mean, they just have too much power and control in the world. But what this whole movement has done is expose the harsh reality of how rigged the system is to the average Joe. With brokerages such as Robinhood supposedly shutting out investors from buying GameStop shares, and seeing how all these companies are all in bed together, I wouldn't be surprised to see if this is the last we hear about all this. Whether banks or hedge funds will get away with it, that's a story for another day. But I highly doubt that this is going to be the last we hear about the Wall Street Bet movement. And this is a strategy that can be used in your own life and in your business. Without an audience, you can't sell your product or service. So a way to gather that audience is by painting yourself as the underdog. An underdog fighting against a much larger, evil enemy. You make your language strong, appealing to the masses, and give people the opportunity to express the hostility that they already feel. Again, with Wallstreetbets, it was all about sticking it to the big banks and hedge funds, and exposing the true corruption on what goes on behind these big closed doors. The fact that the big banks have been fucking over retail investors since the dawn of time, but once the retail investor gets one over them, they all of a sudden start to cry out loud, screaming out more regulation is needed and that change must happen. This whole situation highlighted and fueled the narrative of that the hedge fund and banks are nothing more than evil hypocrites, and is what brought more and more people to unite around this strong cause, to fight against the shackles of an oppressive regime.
You're right. There's massive fraud, manipulation that goes on all the time at the big firms. We saw it back in 2008. If you watch the movie The Big Short, you can't believe they got away with this stuff where they artificially inflate the market and wait till they're out of their position, then allow it to crash and America pays the bill. You're right. You're absolutely right. So, of course, that's where the outrage comes from, because Wall Street rips off America all the time. And then now when the little guy finally had their own little chance to get in on the action, the big firms shut it down. That you're 100% right.
Now this whole situation is still developing, and it will be really interesting to see what comes of it. But even if inevitably nothing does come of it, there is still a major lesson that we can learn from all this. So the question that I will lay to you is, what are you fighting for? Who is the enemy in your world? Business is all about providing solutions to problems. So who or what can you target and demonize in order to get people to unite around your cause or business? You want to create an us versus them dynamic. Demonize the other side and present your side as virtuous. Apple did this back in the day by demonizing IBM and also going against the status quo. They were all about going against the traditional ways of conventional thinking and standing out from the crowd. by positioning their company as selling breakthrough and revolutionary technological products.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Whether they are still about that now is a whole different story. But that's what Steve Jobs is all about. And we all know how loyal and diehard the Apple fan base is because of Steve Jobs' message. Now, you want to be careful with doing this, as if it doesn't come from a genuine, authentic place, then expect to be ridiculed by people for exploiting morals for your own gain. But if you use this strategy authentically and carefully, then there's no stop to how many victories you can achieve by uniting people around your cause. And that's how Wallstreetbets united the world with GameStop. By occupying the moral high ground against the hypocritical and demonized enemy. And this is a strategy that will grant you more power in your life and in the world of business.
Like, this is a great strategy they have going. It really is. They should be more careful with the stocks they pick. Don't pick it in spite, just to spite a short sell. Pick it because it's a good company and you guys will make even more money. I think they should keep doing it and make a fortune doing it. That's what I think.
So if you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and leave a comment below on what your thoughts and feelings are about this whole crazy situation. Comment some of your favourite lessons and teachings from this whole movement, and let me know what character or topic breakdown would you like to see next. And if you are new to the channel, welcome to the channel, and to all our loyal subscribers, we are glad you are here. We do some of the best character and topic breakdowns on the whole of YouTube, and we aim to produce at least one high quality animated video per week. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any golden knowledge. I'll see you soon.